Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today we got a bunch of topics to go through just like usual. We're going to start off with the first one coming through Indie Football, saying Chelsea set to seal £45 million deal to send Raheem Sterling. And if that isn't enough for you, Indie Football isn't trustworthy enough. Richard Romano has got it, and he says Raheem Sterling accepted Chelsea as future destination weeks ago after direct talks with Tuchel and personal terms fully agreed. He'll be among the best paid players. You'd expect that. Chelsea and City set to agree final fee around 45 million and then it will be completed. Now, I have heard some reports saying that it's 45 million initially with a potential 10 million in bonuses, so it could rise to about 55, but there's a bunch of others that are just saying that 45 million is the fee. So if you're asking me my opinion on that, that is an absolute great deal from Chelsea. I know that the club deserve a lot of stick so far this transfer window, not sorting out the board members and stuff until we were, a month into the transfer window, whatever it is, and now we're starting to see movements. That was poor. We needed to get these things done earlier, and maybe we would have got, Kunde over the line, Rafinha over the line, whatever. But a very good signing. This guy's going to bring goals to Chelsea, Premier League proven, going to be creative out on that wing. This is a brilliant signing for Chelsea, and for 45 million, that's actually cheaper than I thought we were going to get him. When you consider that Ziyech might be going to AC Milan for 20-something, to spend 25 million to upgrade from Ziyech to Sterling, that's a very good deal in my opinion. I'm intrigued to see what you guys think of this one. I know a lot of people didn't want Sterling, but for me this is a brilliant signing, and almost like a 10 out of 10. Like it's a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. Then we have Fabrizio Romano again giving us a report on the Dembele situation, and there's a quote from Laporta saying if he wants to stay, he has to accept our final bid, otherwise he will leave. There is no deadline. So clearly Barcelona have put their final bid to Dembele and said, look, if you're staying, this is what you're accepting, otherwise you're free to go. And he said, we want Usman to continue, but now depends on him. He has not accepted current proposal, but he's open. So to me, obviously that means, they've put their foot down, they've said this is it. Whether that's just negotiation tactics, who knows, but they've said this is it. Accept it or move on, and it's very possible he will accept it and he'll take that wage cut, and he will not be happy with his agent in letting it get to the situation where he's having to take a wage cut to stay at the club he wants. Or the other option is he moves to Chelsea and gets paid a wage, not the wage that he wanted up here, but pretty close to it. And will obviously be in a better league competing for trophies against very good teams, Man City and Liverpool. And that's what he'll be offered. But, we're building a very good team here with Sterling signing. If you consider Dembele on the other wing, that's suddenly a very formidable attack from Chelsea. So, very interesting. We'll see where it goes, but it's just going to be, there's no deadline on this. So, this could drag on for a while, although he will probably want to sort his future out sooner than later because he's currently a free agent. Then here we have an update from Ben Jacobs, and he says Barcelona no closer to a full agreement with Leeds for Rafinha. Laporta says no deadline to complete the deal, but Leeds have asked Barca to present latest offer by Thursday. Of course, we're getting to it now. Leeds have already bought in Luis Sinisterra to replace Rafinha and want his future resolved. So they're basically, Leeds are sick of this. They want it done. They've accepted the Chelsea offer. Rafinha's accepted the Chelsea offer. It's just now whether it gets over the line and happens. They've got to present their latest offer by Thursday. If it's not anything that's, interesting to Leeds, maybe Leeds will outright refuse and say, look, we're not dealing with you anymore. Or they'll say, come back to us on Monday with a good offer. And this might drag on a little bit more. So, still possible that we end up with Rafinha. But now that it looks like we've secured Sterling, it's questionable whether we need Rafinha. We absolutely could use him. Play Sterling on the other side, but it's an interesting one. Or Rafinha would be a wing back. You never know. It depends if we're going to go for the 4 at the back. Next up, we have Santi Auna with an update saying Chelsea is still ahead for the Ligt, and Thomas Tuchel plans to speak to the player. So clearly, given the amount of interest coming from Bayern and all that, all the German outlets saying he wants to go to Bayern, which he might, but it's weird that it's the German outlets reporting that. Pretty much all the other ones, the English ones, the Italian ones, all the other journalists are saying no, he wants the Premier League move, but Tuchel plans to speak to him, so this might just be the case to get it over the line and get that final sort of convincing step done by Tuchel. and then De Ligt will hopefully be a Chelsea player. But God, is this one dragging on? You know, it's really starting to wind me up. Let's just get him in, right? Like, this needs to happen. So hopefully Tuchel can work his magic here and get this one done. Here we have an article saying meetings this week between Chelsea player and new owners to decide his future. And down here it says one of them is Azpilicueta, who is due to have a meeting with Todd Boehly and the new board of the club this week. The club captain has his eyes on a Barcelona move and Javi wants him over there, but the report claims that he will not force the move like Lewandowski is doing. So, you know, Azpi's not going to transfer request and, you know, pull all these strings to try and make it happen. He wants the move. He thinks he should have the move, you know, respectfully happen because he agreed it with the previous ownership. But given the situation Chelsea are in, I could absolutely see the club saying, look, just give us one more year. You know, we can't go out and get all these defenders this year. We'll try, but if we can't, can you please stay and help us out and be our captain for one more year? And that's what I would want. I would want Azpi to stay for another year, be the captain in this little transitionary period, and then we can move away next year. He can get his move next year. Maybe Barcelona will be more able to make that signing next year as well, so it could work out for everyone. But I think Azpi does definitely want to leave, but he's not going to do it disrespectfully, which I really respect. Then this next one's interesting. It says Chelsea will submit a proposal for surprise new transfer target in the next hours. As you can see pictured here, not a player that I was incredibly aware of, but Matheus Nunes, and it says Chelsea attack Sporting CP midfielder Matheus Nunes and will submit a proposal in the next hours of 45 million euros plus 5 million in bonus. So let's take a look at this guy. 23-year-old, as you can see, defensive mid to up to the central position, strengths of long balls and ball control with no outstanding weaknesses. He's right-footed, valued at about, call it 30 million euros. So to think that we're offering 50 million, a little bit of a premium there. Fairly tall, so probably quite physical. We take a look in the Portuguese league. 33 total appearances this year. 3 goals, 2 assists. Obviously, that's not his priority though. Passing stats, 86% passing accuracy per game. Long balls about 71, which isn't too bad. In the opposition half, his stats are still pretty good. 80%. Tackles per game about 1.3. You know, not many errors leading to shots and goals and stuff like that. Dribbles about 70%, successful dribbles, duels won 55%. You know, these numbers are decent. 4 yellow cards, so not a crazy, you know, aggressive player. Average over score rating 6.87. So it's a little bit above average, but nothing outstanding. You can see he had a few good months here. No injuries over the year, which is a very good thing to see, of course. But these numbers aren't, you know, crazy impressive for these average performances. They're fairly average to, you know, the occasional month where he sort of shines a little bit. You can see his heat map sort of shows him drifting out to that left-hand side quite a bit. So that's the kind of player, you know, for 50 million euros, that seems like a lot of money for a player that I'm not convinced on. But if Tuchel's clearly scouted this guy, seen something in him that he thinks he can turn into a world-class defensive midfielder, I'm open to it. You know, I want to back Tuchel. I want to give him the opportunity to make the signings that he wants to make this year. So it's interesting. You can see in the Champions League as well, a 6.87 average rating in there. It's not too bad. 6 appearances, no goals, 2 assists. So, you know, he does have a creative side to him. Obviously, playing for Sporting CP in the Portuguese league isn't, you know, top tier, so it's hard to judge how he will do in the Premier League. But 23, you know, there's room to grow there. So an interesting one, but I do think we're probably overpaying a little bit. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like on it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on a future video. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.